Hi guys. So somebody has suggested that we do some work around the shoulders because a lot of us are working from home, maybe at the kitchen table, maybe on the sofa with a laptop, so that the posture might not be great and we might be feeling a little build-up of tension in the shoulders, not to mention of course the stress we might be holding in our shoulders as well. So we're going to work on the shoulders and we're going to work with the breath to create some space in this practice. I'm going to do this practice which is quite active. I'm going to try a little bit later on today to do a breathing practice that is more passive as well, with some shoulder releases for those of you that like a lighter session. So we're going to start in Sukhasana, maybe with a block for support, and we're just going to take a few breaths here. So check in with your alignment, rest your hands, maybe on your thighs, maybe in your lap, wherever you feel the benefit, wherever you feel the most comfortable on your body, so you can connect to your breath if that helps. And just take a moment or two to notice your inhalation and to notice your exhalation. And again, just inhaling and exhaling. Try and feel that already you're releasing some of the tension from your shoulders. You're letting the shoulders drop away from your ears. The inhalation creates a little space, and with the exhalation we soften. Maybe just take another 2 or 3 breaths here before we do anything else. So I want to start with a pranayama practice that I think really helps us to open up space in the chest with the inhalation, and with the exhalation it really helps us to drain the tension from the neck and the shoulders. This practice is a 3-part inhalation with a short retention during each part, between each part, the breath. So we inhale and we fill the lower, as if you're filling the belly, and then we pause, we hold the breath, and then we inhale again and we fill the rib space, we pause again, we hold it in, and we inhale one more time and we fill right up to the collarbones and we hold it in again, we retain the breath. And then optionally you can lock the breath in by lifting through Mula Bandha, pelvic floor, and drawing the belly in. That sends the expansion up again towards your chest and into your ribs. You feel the fullness around your heart space. And you can also lock in by drawing the front of the throat back and tucking the chin in like a little swan's neck. And we hold the expansion and the prana in the chest. And we feel the saturation of that prana while we hold. And then whenever you need to, so you don't have to wait for me, you exhale very, very slowly, and we feel that sort of pouring out of tension as we exhale. I'm going to do this with you, so I can't talk a lot while I'm doing it. So we'll begin together just with 1 or 2 nice long breaths. So take another inhale. And then exhale and empty completely. Good. Now you inhale the first part. Retain the breath. Inhale the second part. Retain the breath again. Inhale the last part, right up to the collarbones. Hold it in. Exhale very slowly. So you feel the tension sliding off your shoulders. Now just take a clearing breath. And exhale completely. And then do that again. So you inhale 1/3 and pause. 2/3 and pause. The last part. Lock it in. Release slowly. Clearing breath again. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, just one more time. So inhale 1/3. Retain. 2/3. Retain. Last part, grow a little bit taller. Hold it in. Release slowly. And then just take a clearing breath here again and notice how that leaves you feeling. Good. When you're ready, transition over onto your hands and knees, so you come into a tabletop pose. And take your time, find your alignment, your foundation in your hands. If you've been practicing with me, we've been working on foundation and grounding, so attend to that. So you spread out your hands, you tuck your toes under, you find your roots. And then we're going to open up the right shoulder first. So this is like a big arm circle, like you're drawing a big mandala with your right arm. You come slowly up and over the top on your inhale. And then all the way down again on your exhale. And you do that again. You'll feel a little more spacious even the second time around. It's a little bit easier. Go again, third one. slowly down. And just do the same thing to the other side. So great big arm circle. This is where we realise just how much tension we're holding around our shoulders. Again. And again. And one more. Take yourself back into child's pose here. Reach the arms forward and lengthen through both sides of your waist. Now you need to stretch it out fairly here, so take a moment with that. Reach back the sit bones, reach forward into your hands, your fingertips, maybe shift a little bit side to side, see if you can make some space, and then soften down your forehead. Put your elbows down on the floor and bring your hands together so you come into a prayer position. And then bend your arms and bring your thumbs around so they're just kind of behind your head, your neck, maybe pointing down in between your shoulder blades. And we're looking for a little stretch through the underarm. Now, you may not feel it yet. If you don't feel it, lift your hips an inch or two. Walk your elbows forward an inch or two, plug your elbows into the floor, and then sit your hips back again. And you should feel a little bit of tractioning out through the underarms. And you can all repeat that adjustment if you need to. You just take a breath or two here. Try and breathe some space into your shoulder girdle. Good. One more breath. Good. You can release the arms when you're ready. Bring yourself up. Ideally, come into a kneeling position here for this next little bit of work. If you need a bit of support, you can always take a couple of blocks in between your low legs and take it here, so like a supported Virasana, or you can sit all the way down in between your feet, or in Vajrasana on your feet. Okay, so find the position that's going to be good for you. You're going to be here for a moment or two. And just settle in with a long exhale, so you're still really attending to the exhale, the releasing down and into your foundation, the things we've been practicing over the last 2 or 3 days. And then we're going to open up a little bit of space. So we're taking the arms out wide here and feeling that we open the chest and the heart space. We'll take a huge inhale here. And as you inhale, a little bit more space. And then you're crossing over. Your right arm is coming over your left arm. And you're finding like an eagle bind, the arms for Gurudasana. And you want to feel that you're just opening across your upper back between your shoulder blades. Shoulder blades move away from the midline, so space behind your heart. And then we find a little bit of movement here with the breath. As you exhale, can you bring your elbows in? You flex the spine a little bit and you bring the elbows in towards your solar plexus. And then on your inhale, you let the arms come up. Maybe you look up a little bit as well. And you just find a nice rhythm here. You exhale in. And you inhale slowly up. one more. Great, and then release, go wide again. Feel that you draw the arms back, you open your chest, you take that huge inhale. So you feel expansion around the heart. And then you wrap again, left over right. You just find the bind again. You find your breath. And then you find rhythm. You inhale up. And exhale in. One more. Perfect. Release the arms and rest the fingertips on the floor beside you, and see if you can let go around your shoulders again. When you're ready, you transition onto your forearms and your knees. Turn your toes under, so a little bit like a tabletop pose, but on forearms rather than on your hands. Make sure you have enough space here so the spine is nice and raw. We don't want to bunch up with the elbows just in front of the knees. So there's a nice clear space. Toes turn under. You find your foundation in your forearms again, your hands, your toes, your knees. And then this is rather like cat-cow, Madhyasana. You draw the tail under and you round your back very slowly as you exhale. You look in towards your centre. And then as you inhale, you go the other way. You draw the breastbone forward as if you're trying to thread your breastbone through your upper arms. You arch your back. And then exhale again and draw under. Now I think that doing cat-cow this way brings a little bit more emphasis into the upper back. So see if you feel that too. Try not to overwork your lower back or your neck. Inhale, breastbone forward, sit bones left. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Good. Now the next little bit of work is fairly strong, so you could take a child's pose here if you like, a modification, or you could do a little bit more of that forearm cat-cow. If it feels okay for you, bring yourself up into a forearm dog for a moment, and soften the knees if you need to and press away from your forearms so you open your shoulders. One more breath. And then, if it feels okay, walk out a little bit longer so that you come into forearm plank. And again, you take a breath or two. And then, careful how you lower here. Don't just dump your pelvis, but come down nice and slowly and into a sphinx pose. Now, you might just want to wiggle a little bit back so you feel you can lengthen your spine. You reach back through your legs, press the tops of the feet into the floor, draw the tail down, so it's as if you're pressing down into the pubic bone, as if you're slightly tucking your tail to really open your lower back. Try and draw your breastbone forward, widen your collarbones. And take a breath or two here. Feel that you pull the breath all the way up towards your heart space. And then rinse it all the way down towards your tail. Maybe 2 more. Last breath here. Good. Release down, put your forehead on the floor and try and breathe into your back waist. So you release the spine a little bit with your breath, you decompress your lower back, feel the expansion. The back waist opens, lengthens on your inhale. Releases on your exhale. And then take yourself back into just a classic child's pose, Balasana. Remember as you sit back to reach your arms forward. Feel that you tease open your lower back. You rest your head down and you breathe into the posterior part of your lungs here. You breathe into your back ribs. And more you breathe into your side ribs, so you expand laterally as well. And you take a breath or two there. Check in with any tendency that you have to hurry or to rush. When you feel ready, you bring yourself up onto your hands and knees. If you need another breath or two in Balasana, it's fine. Up onto your hands and knees when you're ready and back into downward facing dog. And you might want to soften your knees a little bit in order just to open your shoulders. Make sure you're not locking your elbows. Really spread the weight out into the tips of your fingers. If you feel that you need just to pedal your legs a little bit to connect through your feet, to release your hamstrings, you can do that as well. Big sigh might help you release a little bit of your tension. When you're ready, you can walk your feet forward towards your hands. So we come into Uttanasana. It's worth lifting the heart, lengthening, and then releasing down and into the fold. So maybe a little shrug here to release the shoulders, as if you're sliding your shoulder blades over your back ribs. And it might feel a little bit clunky to start with when you move your shoulders in that way, but you do it a few times and the shoulder blades start to glide a little bit more over your back ribs. Try a sigh here again, let the shoulders drop. Let the neck relax. And then when you're ready, you can press the feet up slowly. All the way to stand. And you find your Tadasana. Connect to your feet, your foundation. Long exhale. One of the most important things is that we feel grounded. So if you need to be here for a few extra breaths, just putting down your roots, connecting to your feet. It's fine to stay here. When you're ready to move forward, you bring your hands in front of your heart. And a long inhale takes the arms all the way up. As you exhale, sweep the arms around behind you and interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders back, inhale, lift the heart and lengthen. At the same time, try and draw your tail down. On your exhale, fold forward. Now, if you feel at all unsteady, undo your hands before you forward fold. If it feels okay, take a little shoulder opener here. We'll maybe stay for an extra breath. So inhale again. And exhale. Now as we inhale, we're going to slowly release the fingertips to the floor and bring the heart forward. Open your frontal space, Urdhva Uttanasana. And then exhaling, you step your right leg back. We're coming into lunge. Good. So make space through your lunge, and again, be sure that you're not hurrying, really take your time. You might square your left hip back. And then when you're ready, slowly put down your right knee. You want to go slow enough here that you feel opening through the front of your right thigh into your right hip flexors. So it's as if you're trying to take your right knee a little bit further back than where it would naturally land. So you kind of feel that opening there through the front of your thigh. Good. Now you can stay here. Try and keep your collarbones wide and your heart lifted. So first variation is here. If you'd like to take this a little bit further, as you come up, the tail draws down and you really firm into your feet, your foundation. You hug to the back of your right hip. So the tail is drawing down and the front of the pelvis is lifting. So you're not hanging in your lower back. And then if it feels okay, you open up through your right arm. Now if you need to steady yourself, you can bring your left hand to your left thigh. That might help you find steady. Otherwise, reach that left arm back a little bit, back and down as you reach the right arm up. So you create a bit of opposition. Lovely. And then slowly release all the way down. We will shift the weight back here so that you align your pelvis over your right knee, your right thigh here perpendicular to the floor, and take your left heel forward a little bit. We're looking for Ardha Manasana. So we want to really sort of bury the left heel in the yoga mat. And if you feel you need a little more height here, you can bring your blocks underneath your hands. We want to keep that heel rooted but pull back and feel that you're drawing your femur, your thigh bone, into your hip, into your pelvis, and that really wakes up the hamstring stretch here. Try and bring the toes back towards you and open the sole of your foot. And then most of us will be letting the tail curl under a little bit here, so the pelvis is in a posterior tilt. Try and reach the other way. So you reach your sit bones back. You bring your heart forward and you feel the opening in the back of your left leg. Try and take any rounding out of your back, draw your heart forward. Just one more breath here. Lovely. Bring the foot in and place the sole of the foot down. Transition smoothly from here back into downward facing dog. So consider your transition, Try and make it nice and smooth. Good. Long inhale. And long exhale. Long inhale. As you exhale, lower the knees. As you inhale, open your belly and your heart. So it's like a happy cat pose. Now you can stay here for modification. Pregnancy students stay here. If it feels okay for you, you lower the chest down to the floor between the hands. So it's Ashtanga Pranayama. Chin, chest, hands, knees, toes. And then we can lift the knees and slide out so we come into prone position. Reach the legs back and adjust the hands so they're alongside your chest. Your forehead is down, elbows hug in towards each other. And on the exhale, we initiate transition into Cobra. So it's as if you're releasing into your Cobra. Keep your chin in for now. And then on the inhalation, allow yourself to just rise up a little bit further. Try and keep the collarbones wide, the elbows in. And then exhale slowly down. Think about your next move. If you need some child's pose, you sit back on your heels. Alternatively, you come up and back and into downward facing dog. Spread out your fingers again. Check your foundation. Take a long inhale. Long exhale. Right foot comes a little closer to the left foot. And the left foot slowly rises into a split dog. So stay firmly rooted in the other three limbs. And then the left leg comes through nice and slow. So you come right up onto your right toes, gather that left leg all the way through. Try and place your left foot in between your hands if you can. So you come into really long lunge again. And I'm going to suggest that you use a block here, and you can maybe use two regular blocks, or if you have one of these wooden blocks. You want it inside your foot, just alongside your ankle. And we're going to spin the back foot, put the heel down, turn the toes out, and then the hand's going to come onto the block. So this is left hand on the block or blocks. And you want your arm all the way up against the inside of your leg, so it's pressed against your inner knee. Helps you to keep your hip open. And then you adjust, you turn your pelvis, you try and open your belly space. Imagine you're opening your navel space here. You might want to make your stride, your lunge a little bit longer. You're trying to turn your side ribs around towards the ceiling. You're opening your heart space. When you feel that you've opened up here as much as you can, you take that top arm up. Keep the chin in a little bit. So we don't want to do this with the head. We don't want to compress the neck. The chin is in, and then maybe the head turns and looks up towards the thumb. If that stresses your neck, you just take a more relaxed position with your head and your neck. One more breath. Good. Now shift the gaze, look down, press into the feet. We're coming up into Warrior Two. The arms are going to stay as they are. You're bringing your spine to vertical. Now you need to be careful that you don't let your knee fall in and knock the block over here. So the block's helping you to keep the alignment in that front leg. You press down into both sit bones. Your gaze is over the front hand. I'm going to check the back arm, check your alignment. And then just for a little bit more opening through your chest, turn the palms up. Just feel the way that it's a little bit different through your shoulders, through your arms. One more breath. Good. Coming back to lunge, so you spin onto the toes of the back foot if you can. Nice smooth transition. You can set the block off to one side and you step into your left foot, your right foot floats forward. You come back into Tadasana, lift the heart, Uttanasana. Lift the heart, lengthen and exhale as you fold. Good. From here, rolling up, coming into Tadasana, nice and slow. All the way up. So take a moment here, regulate your breath. And then we do the other side. So we inhale all the way up. And we exhale. The arms come around behind as we interlace the fingers. Inhale, lift the heart, open up, draw the tail down. Widen the collarbones, open the heart space, and then exhale and fold forward. Now release the hands if you need to, if you have maybe a shoulder issue or an injury, or if you're not feeling stable on your feet, you can put your fingertips on the floor. Otherwise, releasing the shoulders and taking a breath here. One more. From here on the inhale, slowly the fingertips come to the floor and the heart draws forward. Open the frontal space. And exhale, step the left leg back. You find your long lunge again, you square your right hip back. Your heart lengthens forward. Take your time to make space. And then slowly we lower the left knee down. Now tease out your quads and your hip flexors. You might come up and then sink back down again. You make that little bit of extra space through the front of your thigh. And you can stay here. You can focus on lifting your heart, widening your collarbones. You can bring your blocks underneath your hands if you feel you need a little bit more height to bring that rounding out of your upper back. If you want to take it further, you press down into your feet and the energy rises. Now as you lift your heart up, you need to draw your tail down. You take any compression out of your lower back, you lift through your front. Lift your ribs. You can bring your right hand to your right thigh to help you stabilize. You can take the left arm up and open the left side. So as you take the arm up, it feels like an extension of the side body. Lengthen from the hip all the way through to the fingertips. You can leave your right hand on your thigh. You can stretch that right arm down and back. Feel the energy moving through both arms, through the shoulders. When you're ready, you release from here. Hands come to the floor. And you move the weight back so the pelvis aligns over the left knee. And you lift the right heel forward. You bury the right heel in the mat, you draw the toes towards you. Again, you can use your blocks here underneath your hands for a little bit more height. Draw the toes towards you, dorsiflex your foot. Root into the heel, but pull the thigh bone back as if you're trying to draw the thigh bone into the hip, and you square that right hip back. Wake up the stretch in the back of your right leg. And then finally there's that adjustment in the pelvis. You try and reach the right sit bone back as if you're moving your pelvis towards anterior tilt. You're moving the sit bone away from the heel. Feel the back of the leg open. Good. When it's enough, sole of the right foot comes back to the floor. Find the foundation in the hands. Smooth transition takes you back into downward dog. Long inhale. And long exhale. Once more, inhale. Slowly lower the knees, exhale. Inhale, open the belly. Stay here for the modification. Alternatively, lower the heart down to the floor in between the hands. So chin, chest, hands, knees and toes. And then lift the knees, slide out, lengthen. You press the tops of the feet into the floor. Hands come alongside your chest. Find your breath. Initiate the coming into cobra with your exhale. So you feel the foundation and rebounding energy, and then inhale. You feel a little buoyant as you come up. Your chest expands, your collarbones widen. Slowly down. Your choice, child's pose or downward facing dog. Good. You bring your left foot a little closer to the right foot and the right leg rises. So super slowly lever the leg up. Feel the connection from your right hand all the way through and into your right heel. Raise onto your left toe so you have lots of clearance. Bring the right knee in, look at the space in between your hands and set your intention to put the foot there. Try and bring the foot through slowly. You come back into your long lunge, square the right hip back. And we're going to look for Parsvakonasana here. So you turn your left toes out a few degrees. Use a block inside your right foot, right up against the foot, right up against the ankle, so your arm is pressed to your inner leg. And then you make the adjustments through the pelvis. You turn your pelvis, you roll the lower hip under, top hip back, you open the side body, turn through the side ribs, keep the tail drawing down so your lower back is spacious. Really take your time to open up as much space as you can, and then the left arm comes up. Check the neck here, back of the neck stays nice and long. Arms stay as they are. You bring the spine to vertical, Virabhadrasana B. So check that front knee isn't falling in. Be sure you're not going to knock the block over. Press the back hip a little more underneath you. Armpits right over your hips. Your gaze is out over the front hand. Maybe turn the palms up and lengthen through the arms so you just feel that opening all the way through your chest. You're coming down from here, you pivot onto the back toes, try and find your balance there. Set your block off to one side. You float your back foot forward, lift your heart, lengthen. Exhale and fold. When you're ready from here, you roll up, nice and slow. Back to Tadasana. Let the shoulders drop down, take a breath. Good. So again, regulate your breathing. And when you're ready, inhale up. And exhale, forward fold. Good. Now we're going to stay with this fold for a moment. Heel toe your feet, maybe a little bit wider, hip distance apart if you're not already there. And I'm going to give you 3 variations here. The first is to bring your right hand to your left elbow, your left hand to your right elbow. Just let the upper arm bones drop from the shoulders, let the head hang. And you can just check this is nice and loose. Try and let the upper arm bones fall from the shoulders. The second variation is to bring the arms around behind the legs. And you can hold your wrists or your forearms or all the way to your elbows. And see if here you can just feel a bit more space between your shoulder blades. Nice loose neck. And the third variation, and I might just have to turn here a little bit to show this. The third variation is an infinity bind. So your arms are behind your legs, but you cross your wrists and you bring the hands around the fronts of your shins. I hope you can see that. And then you're back into your fold. So the only reason I'm lifting my head and bending my knees is so you can see what I'm doing with my hands. So your hands, your fingers come around the sides of your low legs, you come back into your fold and you press the legs out into the hands a little bit and squeeze the hands into the legs. You should feel the upper back open. And you let the head really fall here, let the neck release. Take one more breath. Good. Releasing from there. Give those shoulders a shrug. We're coming down to the floor. Maybe if it's okay for you, take a squat on the way down. Take a breath or two. A long inhale. And a long exhale. Good. When you're ready, come into Sukhasana. Cross the shins, maybe use a block for support. And we're just going to take a twist and a little release for the neck before we take our relaxation. So make sure you're dropping evenly into both sit bones, you lengthen your spine. And then you take a spiral around to your right. Left hand on right knee and right hand as far behind your sacrum as you can. So You feel that you're rolling this right shoulder back, lengthening the right collarbone, and opening this upper right corner of your chest. Make sure you're not leaning over to the right, you're not leaning back, spine is vertical. You might want to tease out your neck a little bit. And then look all the way around and over your shoulder. And keep easing the shoulder back a little bit, as if you're really trying to lengthen that collarbone. You're opening a bit more space. Take huge inhales. Rinse the holding away as you exhale. Now, you're going to keep the shoulder here drawing back. You're going to turn your head around and to the left. And you start to feel really nice release all the way through the shoulder and into your neck. Keep the shoulder moving back. And then take the left ear a little bit over to the left shoulder. Maybe tuck the chin in a little bit. And you can just make adjustments here until you feel the sort of sweet spot, the nicest release in your neck. And then you release from there. Ease out your neck. Release from your twist, come back to the center. Take an inhale, lengthen. And then go to the left. Again, just ease out the neck. Turn and look over the shoulder. Draw the left shoulder back, so you're really opening here, front of the shoulder, and pectorals. Look over behind you. And then you turn your head and you look to the right. And then maybe drop the right ear a little bit so you feel all across the top of the shoulder, the upper trapezius into the neck. You might want to bring the chin in a little bit. That moves the stretch a little bit from the side of the neck slightly into the back of the neck. And then from here, you can release, just ease it out a little bit to your center. And maybe just equalize here by folding some way. So it can be tiny, it doesn't have to be big. Some way forward and let the head go. Huge breath into the back. Long exhale inside. You can stay here for longer if it feels good. If you're ready, come slowly up. You can take yourself into Shavasana when you're ready. One or two variations for this, for your relaxation. You can keep your knees bent if you have a lower back issue, so that you can really drop down through your back body. It's good to take a breath or two here, even if you have no issue with your back, just to make sure you're relaxing the back down before you straighten your legs. And then if you have two blocks or a bolster, it's maybe worth having something under just the very upper
thighs, just under the backs of the legs. You lengthen your neck, your arms alongside. We'll take the arms belly wide today because we've been working with our shoulders. So you're opening through your chest, your heart lines, let the shoulders drop down. Take a huge inhale and a long exhale. You might want to do that again. And then just natural breath. Being aware of your inhale and the expansion as you inhale. Being aware of your exhale and the release, the let go as you exhale. I recommend that you stay with your Shavasana for a few minutes at least. It certainly takes time for us to move completely towards into relaxation. So just allowing yourself to be patient, let the relaxation unfold. Each time you exhale, try and let the shoulders drop so that you feel a little bit more spacious, your chest. Make sure you're relaxing your eyes, your jaw, your tongue. Sigh if you need to, if you're finding it difficult to relax at the moment. I'll leave you here to take as long as you need in Shavasana. Namaste.